All right, Angela, floor is yours.
All right. Good morning, you guys. So I will be covering building rapport and also mastering recommendations. So one of the biggest things is presence and people meeting you and seeing you. And it always first starts off with the phones, right? That's the first impression is whenever you're calling the person to set up your appointment, whether it's in person or virtual. But that's like one of the biggest things is the phone call. That's the first impression. So basically, I'm going to give you a couple of keys and key points for building rapport, and then I'll end with recommendations. And then after that, I'll open it up for questions if there's any specific ones. Just jot down your question if you have one, and we'll cover it at the end. So the biggest thing is like building really high level rapport is having high energy, right? And sometimes that can take a lot for some people. Some people are already extroverted. Some people are a little bit more introverted. So being able to find that good medium of what's not overkill, but what's not too subdued, right? So being able to have that high level. Every time I walked into an appointment, to Mrs. Jones' house. I wanted to make sure I was her highlight of her day, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. And being able to, people feel the energy, they can feel it. And so you want to create like a rapport bubble, an energetic bubble where people can trust you and you can build connections that way. And I always remember, I always told people, I was like, I'm going to make orders versus just taking orders, right? So being able to lean upon that and not forcing it, right? It has to be that natural energy, not overkill. So there's 3 P's for rapport. Please write this down. The first P is going to be presence. Okay. So presence okay, I'm not going to switch it, but presence basically is you being present, right? Are you paying attention? Are you listening? Are you looking at their gestures? Are you paying attention to what the customer is giving you feedback? And I apologize, I'm like a little under. So, but yeah, so being able to be present and listening, and also being able to focus on what they're doing, especially when you guys are doing in-person appointments. That's super important. There's little small gestures that you'll notice that customers will do, that they'll say, and you'll be able to pick up on that. I know on virtual appointments, of course, you want to make sure that you're checking in with the customer, affirming a lot more. Was that making sense, Mrs. Jones? Asking a lot of questions. That's like being question master, basically, through virtual appointments. Like I really want to make sure that they're paying attention. And also you are as well, right? As you're talking, are you visualizing what the customers are doing? Are you noticing the questions that they're asking? So just making sure that you're present. Okay, that's the first P. Second P is going to be playful, right? Whole idea is that you want to have fun. It shouldn't be stressful. um, right? You want to make sure that you're playful with it. Are you having fun on the appointment? Are you like something I would do is I would joke around. Like I'm sure you guys know a couple. Hey, stop. Sorry, I have animals here acting crazy. So being playful, are you kind of making jokes? Are you like what I say at the end? And I'm like, hey, by the way, all I need is your famous signature here if it's an in-person appointment. And also your social security number, right? And so I'll just always joke around and make jokes and just be playful with it, right? You want to have a fun time. You want the customer to have fun. You want them to smile as well as you're smiling. Because if you're smiling at them, giving an appointment, and they're looking at you, blank stare, something's going on, right? So be playful with it, have fun. And then the last P is going to be permission. This is very important. Okay. Permission is the last P. Like kind of like a phrase. Is it cool if I show you? Is it okay if I do this? You're asking questions before you lead into, and it's like, hey, Mrs. Jones, I completely understand that the homemaker set just doesn't make sense for today. And what it seems like it's timing for you. You guys really do like Cutco. Is it okay if I show you one of our most popular sets? It's a step down called our galley set. Is that okay? Right? You're asking permission, you're framing it. Um, and so that really helps whenever you're not just shoving it down their throat, right? Because I have been on appointments where I have felt like I kind of shoved Cutco down their throat, and it's not a good feeling. You can kind of feel it, and they're just like, is yeah, that's permission. Yeah. So just making sure that you are asking them and that they feel comfortable as well. Because some people might say, actually, no, I don't want to see the galley set. They're like, hey, completely fine. Part of this appointment, I do have to cover all of the products. So that way I do get the credit for the appointment. It's okay if I do show you like our starter kits. Like if they say no to the galley, cool. It's okay if I just show you like our custom sets where you can actually customize your own set, build your own, right? Um, so that's something you always want to do is follow with permission. Okay. Now, another thing too that's super big, this was just the premise of building high rapport. The most important thing, and please, guys, till today, I do this at the booth. Okay. I'm on Cutco events team and I am sharing my goals. So if you're not sharing your goals, you're not doing it right, doing something wrong. So please, 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 in life, there is a reason why we are living. Okay. We all have a purpose. And even though Cutco may be temporary, it might be just a driving vehicle for you right now. That's awesome. But people want to know, why are you doing Cutco? People still ask me today, you still selling those knives? Yeah, I sure am. And it's amazing. I love it. And I share my goals with people like, hey, this has allowed me to do this, and I plan on doing this, and I want to go here. And in order to do that, I need to do this, right? So being able to share with people like, hey, I want to buy my first house. Hey, I want to, my mom's turning 75. I want to do a big surprise for her next year. I'm saving up for that. All these different things that whatever is important to you, you want to buy a new car, you want to pay off your school debt, you want to, go on a trip, whatever that is for you, you want to make sure that you're sharing it. And it's a legitimate goal. It's not just, um, something crazy. Okay. Make sure it's a good goal. And I'm pretty sure you guys have already gotten taught how to share goals or what a goal is and how to write it. But you always have to remember you share your goals in the beginning of the presentation. And I share my goals at the end when I'm asking for the order. I'm like, hey, Mrs. Jones, like even I do this at the booth. I'm like, hey, I know you guys didn't wake up saying you wanted to buy knives this morning. No one does. I completely understand that. But I'm not sure. I was going to tell you a little bit about myself, but I've been doing Cutco for 7 years. And this is a job that allowed me to win scholarships, and I've been able to pay my way through school. And, I really, really appreciate you guys spending time with me today. Now, if there was any way possible, like if Cutco did everything and it had like arms and legs and it, the perfect set was there for you today, is there any possible chance that you guys may purchase it today? Right. I'm just trying to fill them out, asking permission just to kind of see where they're at. And then I would lead with my goals. Like, hey, by the way, I know you really like this set. You're telling me no, it's completely fine. It's okay. If I were to go a little bit out my way, by the way, also too, like my mom, phenomenal lady. And I'm working really, really hard with Cutco because I want to surprise her. She's turning 75 next year. And I'm really also working hard to buy my house. Now, if I were to go out of my way and like do something special for you guys today, would you be open to it? Just trying to see. So like share your goals, go more in depth. Like of course at the booth, it's different when I'm at an appointment. At an appointment, I'm digging in. They know exactly who I am from a T. They know who my mom is, who my family is. I share PowerPoints. I still do it on virtual appointments, in-person appointments. But at the event, you kind of have to go through pretty quickly, taking turns, but definitely I still share my goals. So that's really important, and being able to frame it correctly. So just make sure that if you are sharing it at the beginning, make sure you remind the customer. They just watched a whole bunch of videos and saw amazing Cutco cut. And then they're like, dang, like I see $1,600, 16, 13. Dang, I forgot. So you want to remind them of why they're buying the $1,600 set. Not only is it guaranteed forever, not only are our products phenomenal, but you also will be helping me, Mrs. Jones. This is my goal, right? And it's okay if it doesn't make sense for you today, but let's show you some other stuff, right? We can always build your way up to that set that you like. At least you can get something today, right? Okay. So yeah, make sure if you're not doing it, try to share your goals at the end when you're asking for the order. All right. And then now for recommendations. Really important is just like the biggest thing, and I'm so glad Cutco has this for us, is your script. You guys are very fortunate. Well, I wouldn't say so much fortunate, but you guys have an online script, which is amazing. I had to, I'm sure you guys know, we had blue books and manuals back then when I started. And I'm not even that old, but I started back in 2017, before COVID, before the
So
virtual
old,
world.
Angela.
So, huh?
I said so old.
I know, right? I feel like it. Honestly, no, I'm like kind of scary. And I'm glad people think I'm younger than what I am. I'll take that every day. But um definitely making sure you know your script when you're asking for recommendations. Like it's the bread and butter. That's the company. They take years and years and years to perfect the script. And I still use it, you know. It helps me so much. Like being able to reread the script online and then using that in my events and my demos, it's perfect. It's the reason why it's written that way. So just making sure you're following that script, and yeah, you're asking for recommendations. Now, when it comes to recommendations, what I would do is, depending on if you're in school, whatever major in, if you're pre-med, nursing, engineering, making sure you're asking for those specific people. Raise of hands, would it be awesome to get a recommendation for your future job? Right? But they're not going to give it to you unless you ask. Even though you did share who you are, why you're going to school, right? I hope you guys are telling your recommendations, you're telling your friends, your family, whoever you're seeing, that I'm going to school for XYZ. Because then they'll be like, oh, I know so and so, they're doing this, right? So make sure you're sharing, like, what are you going to school for? Why are you going to school? Why is that important? What do you want to do with school afterwards? Where do you see yourself? You know, how is Cutco serving you in this instance to help you project, like to help you go forward? So making sure that you're asking for, who do you know that's an engineer? Who do you know that's in pre-law, or who's a lawyer, who's an attorney, who's a whatever your career path is, okay? Social media, electronics, or you know, the tech, that's really big now too, tech world. So asking for those specifics, that's really going to help, because I've sat in the front of a lot of architects. I went to school for architecture, and so I would ask for engineers, I'd ask for architects, and so that's something that you can use to your advantage. Also, I don't know if you guys have the kind of like the cheat sheet where it breaks down, like, who do you know that has two homes? Who do you know that has an RV? Who do you know kids go to private school? Who do you know that likes to travel? Like those thought joggers is what it is. Making sure that you have those thought joggers. And if you don't, ask your manager. Yeah. Yeah, just the biggest thing is just reading your script word for word. And once you get that memorized, excuse me, you know at the back of your hand. And now, as they're writing down, when you get objections, which some people are like, hey, I don't know anyone. That's my favorite one. I don't know anyone. Oh, really? You don't know anyone, Mrs. Jones? Like, and then that's when I started saying, okay, I know, I understand that you maybe not don't know anyone, but and also too, like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna kind of pivot back, hold that thought right there where I'm saying you don't know anyone. Throughout the appointment, I am asking questions like, do you guys entertain, right? Whenever you're getting to the homemaker set, there's the master carving set. Hey, do you guys ever do Thanksgiving, ham, turkey? Like, do you guys entertain? That's a question I ask when I'm talking about the carving set. Oh yeah, we host Thanksgiving. We have Christmas. Okay, so you know people, right? There's random people coming over to your house to eat your food. No, you know people. So there's little little things throughout the appointment. I'm asking questions. So that way, when I get to recommendations, I know that's not true, or I just know that they know people. So like, and then also like about their kids. Do they have kids? Hopefully you guys are seeing people who do have kids, because then they're probably cooking a lot more than just husband and wife. So their kids, I'm pretty sure, are in activities. You know, I'm building rapport in the beginning, and I'm analyzing, and I'm keeping storing all the information in my head. So when I get to the end, I'm able to then ask for the people that they know. So yeah, ask the questions in the beginning, like your kids, they are like volleyball, are they in like special sports? And if you guys are sports, awesome. Like talk about sports, it's great. Like people love sports. Their kids are in volleyball, soccer, tennis, private, whatever it is, right? Just asking questions, because I'm pretty sure their kids, their moms and dads talk together, most case scenario. So asking about the kids' sports friends, asking about church. You know, do you guys go to church? That if you get into a church, I'm telling you, you get a lot of people. Church, also for like work related. I'm sure they work somewhere, so they probably have coworkers. I'm sure they're in a neighborhood. They probably have neighbors. Um, you know, things like that. So if they don't know anyone. And then the cool thing is that now that we're in the virtual world, Mrs. Jones, it's not just people in Houston or Texas, it's actually all 50 states. So if you have a really good best friend that lives in New York, I would love to meet her. I'd love to see her. It would help me out so much, Mrs. Jones. And if sometimes you have to incentivize people, like I can kind of see like if they are going to give me a lot or not, and I'll kind of push them, especially if they're buying from you, especially if you know them and they are have really good recs. Like make sure you really, really, really nail that script, and you really, really, really prioritize this. And I always preface before I go into my script, Mrs. Jones, I want to thank you so much for this presentation. You helped me out so much, but this last part is super important. And I really, really, really need your help. Now, in order for me to continue with Cutco, like this is what I say when I'm on my appointments. In order for me to continue with Cutco, of course, I'm working events, I'm doing service calls, but I would like to see new people. And so one of the ways you can really help me out is through recommendations. Now, I'm not looking for people who you think would buy, just nice people like you willing to take a look. And I literally just like, boom, go into it. And I give them a pen, I give them a paper, and I am expecting it. I'm expecting them to write down 20 names, 30 names, however many that is. I'm expecting it. And I used to show examples. Dang, I wish I brought my recommendation book. I should have, but I have examples like, hey, Mrs. Jones, so-and-so did this, so-and-so did that. And they're seeing that, oh, people are giving 20, they're giving 30, they're giving 40, 50, however many. So it's expected, right? And you're leading in with it like, hey, by the way, I just need you to pull out your phone. Here's a pen, here's a paper. I need you just to jot down like 200 to 300 people, okay? And they're like, what? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just like, 20 to 30. Hey, but if you get to this number, I'll throw in that vegetable peeler that you really like, the ice cream scoop that you liked, whatever it was. Like you can go back into order. You can bonus the ice cream scoop down the road, right? Even if you place the order, you can still give them ice cream scoop, just bonus it. Or cutting board, whatever it is that they may show interest in, but they didn't get it at the time. Hey, that ice cream scoop you really liked, if you get to 50, it's on me, just for helping me. And they don't even have to buy, right? It's just people that you're recommending. So yeah. And if they stop at like, let's say you're trying to get them to 10, if they stop at like 7, just be like, Mrs. Jones, come on, you're gonna stop at 7. I know that's the holy number, but let's get to 10. We need those double digits. Like, let's get you to 10. So I know you know 3 more people, okay? And what I do is I actually leave the paper with them. So like I am getting better, but I just have so much stuff now that everything's on my computer. So I'm very digital and less paper. I do a lot of things on the paper, but I take a picture of it and I leave it with them so they can add to it. But it's up to y'all. So what y'all do when you're in person. Take a picture. I say, hey, these are all the names. This is the message I need you to send out to them. So that way they can see who they need to send a message to. But I'm pretty sure you guys have like the app, and I'm still like still behind
Yeah,
me.
they do have the app, so they're able to look at who they still have or have that list. So,
Okay, sweet.
but yeah, great suggestion is keeping track. As you notice, Angela doesn't just accept things; she runs her business, and as she treats it like a business, and one of the most important things of her business is her recommendations and her relationships. What I know about Angela is people come back to buy from her consistently. I'd love to know like what your repeat business number is for most of your clients because I know it's pretty high. Um,
Um,
you don't have to look at it now. I know.
yeah, I know. And I'm just like thinking, I'm like, I think, well, like now I have like probably 1,500, and I would say probably like out of 1,500, I would probably like 100, like 100 people. Like probably okay, a year. I would say probably like it's less. It's probably like 5%.
By the way, hey
It's
guys,
like
who would
not that
want a
much.
5% income passively coming in while you're going to school, and you're making an extra 5 to 10 grand for the year? Anyone be excited about that? Yeah, that's right. Joy's like, show me that. Cool. Hey, I don't want to hijack this, Angela, but any other questions you have or any other tips you want to throw at them, and then we're gonna transition over to questions and feedback, and then hop in the phones because the phones are
Yeah,
burning.
get on
Gotta
the
take this
phone.
knowledge and implement it.
Um, no, I think it's just like the main thing is like in life in general, I'm just realizing this. I'm not realizing this now, but it really helps when you just are just authentic and you're just yourself, right? People naturally
Huge.
gravitate towards authenticity.
Yep.
And so when you are just relaxed and you're having fun, people see that. They find joy in that and they want to help you reach your goal. So I think the biggest thing is just making sure that you're getting your scripts down, whether it's recommendations. That's really important because that's a way how gosh, are you guys acting so bad today? That's the way you guys are going to be able to like, go for longevity is through recommendations. But yeah, just like being yourself and having energy. Biggest thing.
Cool. Awesome. Well, give Angela some praise. What I'd love to hear really quick is takeaways. What did you learn from listening to her? What resonated with you guys? Questions. Before we do that, I do have two things I want to say. And Angela touched on this energy and rapport. If you're not a big energy person, smile. Okay. You don't have to be over the top. Angela and I are very outgoing. We're like very high energy people. If you met one of my guys, Matthew Sellers, completely the opposite. And what Matthew and Angela's laughing because she knows Matthew. Matthew was an engineer, very just data driven, very analytical. Emotions were not involved in much of what he did. He's just like A plus 1 plus 2 is 3. We're going. There's nothing else into it. Okay. And so we're like, you got to smile. I put sticky notes on his computer, his laptop, and he grew how to learn how to do that. So smiling is crucial there. When she says presence, a lot of people listen to respond. Here's a note: listen to understand. Get curious. Make sure you clearly understand their problem, what they need, how you can solve things for them. And then I put something in the chat box. Mastering your scripts. I can tell you right, Mrs. Jones, how do you like my demo? Great. Go ahead and pull yourself in because there's one more very important part. Here's going to really help me out. I get paid every time I show cut, but I'm going to show to people I personally recommend it to. So I need you to just close. Nettie, I don't say it that fast to him, okay? But if you don't have it that memorized, you cannot influence somebody because you don't have confidence in what you're saying. Name of the game at the end of the day is influencing. And when you ask questions, you control your questions. And then rapport, here's a caveat, little note, make it easy. Categories wise, family, where are they from? What are their kids involved in? Sports, occupations. Occupation, what do they do for work? How did they get into it? Was that their major in school? Recreation, what do they do for fun? Do they go fishing, boating, hunting? And as you're doing this, Angela said she's learning about them. So when I do my thought joggers in the end, I'm using what I learned. So if I know George has worked at the hospital for 15 years, I'm going to say, hey, George, who do you know from the hospital that'd be nice enough to listen to my presentation? So I'm building my rapport to build trust. And at the end, I use what I learned in my rapport to get my recommendations. And also suggest things throughout the presentation for pieces that might be good for them. So those are things I took away from her. Thank you so much, Angela. What questions do you guys have from her? Because we got to respect her time. She's got some big goals for this summer. So any questions for her real quick? I'd love to hear takeaways. Anything you learned from her or any questions? Take it away. Let's hear some, I want to hear some feedback.
Yes, ma'am. So one thing I definitely took away is just incentivizing during the recommendation stage. And I feel like that's something I didn't like do a lot or at all. So now that I know that, it's like it can definitely help me gain a lot more recommendations. And one thing you mentioned as well towards the beginning was presence, like, you know, just being there, like having your energy being felt. And I feel like that's an important thing as well, because I was just talking to Morgan just yesterday, and she was like, sales is a transfer of energy. So I find that very, like, you know, refreshing to my mind and just making me understand the concept as a whole. So, yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, George. I think that's really important too. And definitely incentivizing them. And it doesn't have to be with Cutco. Like, you know, Cutco's a great way to incentivize them, but you can always, excuse me, I was gonna sneeze. All right. So you don't always have to do it every appointment, but whenever you feel like you need to push them and just give them like some extra oomph, you know, definitely incentivize them. Because then you don't have to do it every appointment, because then you'll be like, hey, I gotta give an ice cream scoop every time. No, just whenever you feel like you need it.
Yeah, and to a note with that, guys, you don't have to, like, we're not buying the world for them, okay? When it comes to incentivizing, a lot of you, if you're in training, you don't know this yet because we haven't taught you all this stuff. When in doubt, by the way, talk about your sponsorship. Easiest way to incentivize without spending $1 is use what you have for free. And people want to help you out, and so the sponsorship, right? Every 10 people that get recommended to you as a sponsor. So once you get 50 sponsors, you actually get a $150 piece of Cutco as an award, and you can sell that for cash or add that to your collection. By the way, that can be done multiple times. It's not a one and done. One of my guys, Orlando Ortiz, did this 5 times. He had over 2,500 recommendations at his disposal over 2 years of working with us. So when you master the basics, it pays forward immensely. So definitely huge. Though here, and the last little thing I'll say on the free stuff, peelers. Peelers are one of the only things that I give, and the reason why is you can buy a peeler from your manager for $9, compared to the $55 that we have in the field. We have a discount for representatives to use those to get more appointments, and we'll talk separately about that as well. But those are huge. Awesome. Any other last little takeaways or feedback so we can we'll let Miss Angela get out of here?
I have a question.
Go for it.
So my question is, and I apologize, my camera is not wanting to work today. But anyway, my question is, how do you keep your demos like at a reasonable length? Maybe like no more than an hour, I would say, like something reasonable for people to schedule around, while still, you know, building rapport, building that connection with them, and overall just having them like giving them a good playful demo.
Yeah, thanks, Christina. Good question. So one thing that I really focus on is the knife sets. And I ask qualifying questions whenever I'm getting to accessories. So being able to make that demo shortened. Of course, I'm still building up rapport. That's the most important thing, is that they know who I am. So even if they aren't able to buy, at least they feel comfortable, not feel comfortable, but they like me so much, they're going to want to recommend the world to me, right? So still sharing the goals, still running through the sets, even the pieces. I focus on that because that's what we're really known for. Of course, we still have all your accessories, cookware, flatware, gadgets, outdoor knives. And I really do, I do kind of skim through those if I'm like, hey, how is your cookware situation? What are you guys using right now? Oh, we have this. Hey, we just bought cookware. We're not interested. Okay, cool. I'm not going to keep shoving it down their throat. You know, I'm asking permission. What does this look like? And I say, awesome. Well, just so you know, whenever you guys are looking for a new cookware set, these are just a little bit about the cookware. So just let us know whenever you're ready. Okay, sweet. So flatware, how is your flatware situation? What are you guys using? Cool. Just so you know, Cutco's flatware is blah, 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 blah. Cool. Is that something that you guys see yourself investing in? Is that something that you do like, right? You're just trying to touch on those. And then gadgets. I really run through the gadgets pretty heavily. because I feel like everyone needs the entertainer pack.
So true.
They should have it. They should have it. It's a drawer consolidator. I'm like, Mrs. Jones, open up that drawer. Let me see that drawer. Yeah, this is a drawer consolidator, right? These are the most high quality gadgets you're ever going to use, fully warranted, American made. This is where you should go, right? Cool.
So
And
many
then,
nuggets right there. I hope you guys are writing these down. Like the lines that she's using is exactly what she says in her demo to her customers. And a big thing that you'll learn, guys, is so to answer your question, Christina, it's memorize the most important parts of your demo. You want to get it faster. In the beginning, it's longer because you're trying to think about what you're supposed to say. Oh, I got to watch the customer and their reaction right now. And then now I need to go back to my script and find out where I'm at. End of the day, keep it simple, master that script. Here's the pages to memorize. 9 and 10, comparing to your competition and mastering your presentation of the homemaker set. Start with that. And then 18, which is your recommendation approach that Angela started with. Okay. As you're getting through there, it's just as you get more repetition, it's going to shrink down. Right, Angela? Doesn't it? It just naturally gets faster.
It took me like 3 hours, my first appointment. I would end up being late to my next appointment. Like, so, and then now I can, obviously do a presentation in 10, 10, 15 minutes at the booth, so it went from 3 hours to someone buying a homemaker set in 10 minutes, right? But it's also like Spencer was saying, repetition, practicing. And I was like, this is the Cutco Bible. I'm gonna look at this page and make sure I get this down. Wherever I feel like I was uncomfortable or where I was kind of slipping up each time, I made sure after the appointment or whenever I was with a colleague, I would say, hey, can we talk about page number 5? I just want to be able to run it through you, get your feedback. Go to your managers, right? If you're having issues, you're having problems, reach on each other. I don't know if you guys know each other that well. If some of you guys may have been here for a couple weeks, 6 months, but reach out to your managers, right? They're here to help you guys. So if you're having problems, something's not making sense, just ask, right? But yeah, repetition, it will condense it, asking important questions. And you'll notice I like until literally last year, right? Like I've been in the company for now 7 years and it was until year 6. I'm telling you, I'm still learning stuff. It's amazing the things you can just add to those, mastering those pillars in your business. But I was never asking the right questions. I was asking questions, but they weren't
huge.
So you'll get to a point to where you'll start asking qualifying questions, right? And you'll notice when customers are asking you questions that make sense. Because some customers, they'll just go and just ask a question and you're just like, it makes sense. We're talking about knives, now you're talking about cookware. Like, tell me which one you want. You want both, right? So, you want to ask correct questions and that will lead you to like condensing it. But yeah, just repetition, practice.
Yep, it's huge. And then just a couple things, Christina, and this is for everybody in the beginning, they're going to be longer, right? Especially when you see it with people that they're naturally going to drag you into conversations, right? Grandma's going to build rapport for you for 10 to 15 minutes, 9 times out of 10, right? Where some people will just skip through that. So those are going to be a little bit longer. Just understand that. Keep it simple. What I find a lot of people do in the beginning is they try to add all this extra fancy descriptions and whatever to the stuff. Like keep it simple. Learn the basics so you can stick and move. Like Angela said, as you get really good at this, all of our top people, we could do a demo in 10 minutes. Not that I'm skipping it. I know what to stick. I know what I need to hit on certain people. The demo is designed to build value for every person that you're going to see. And as Angela is saying, as you get really good at this, I know there's certain things I don't need to hit on them because I know where their value lies. I know what matters to them. They're someone who cares more about saving money versus spending it. Then I'm going to talk about value and how this is going to save them money in the future and how this is going to last forever and they're never going to have to buy it again. But you have to learn some of those things as you get through this. But in the beginning, it's getting all of it because it hits every single point that someone's going to need to make an educated decision.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help a little bit, Christina? Any other questions? And with this one, I can help. I know Angela's got to make some calls and get moving, so I can definitely field some of those. But yeah, we're going to meet this either today or tomorrow, Christina, to work a little bit more on your demo itself.
Yeah, but definitely like when it comes to the customers that I've never heard of Cutco, you know, obviously I need to like, or if they've never purchased high quality knives before, it's foreign. Just like it's just like you guys, right? If you own a Toyota and then now you're looking at Lamborghinis, it doesn't make sense. You have to understand why. Now, if someone said, "Hey, this Lamborghini is only $50,000, you're gonna find a way to get that $50,000 Lamborghini, right? Because you understand the value. So that's what you have to teach people the value, right?
So
You have to
even
make
if it's
sure they
broken, I'll find
understand.
a way.
Exactly. Shoot, almost 50,000 for even the parts. Oh yeah, they want to make some money. But yeah, that's why, because you understand the value of a Lamborghini, but some people don't understand the value of a Lamborghini. So $50,000 to them doesn't make sense. But for some other people, it does. They're going to find every way possible. So that's the whole point of your presentation is making sure that your customer understands why, the why behind it, because they can spend $1,000 on something else. But why are they spending $1,000 with Cutco? Why do we compare to other competitors? Why do people invest, right? Why did they do that? So that's what you're explaining throughout your presentation. And you're comparing it to other companies because you get those people that are like, well, why am I going to spend $1,000? Can I just go buy Henkel's? Can I just go buy this other brand? You can, but you're going to buy it over and over and over again, you know? So
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much, Angela. Let's give her some round of applause, some snaps, whatever you want to do to show her appreciation. Because I don't know about you guys, but I definitely got some and take advantage of these. So thank you so much. All right, guys, here's what we're gonna do. I need Martini, do you know how to be the DJ?
Sure.
Okay, my stuff doesn't work. So let me stop the recording. What do you mean? I am the host. All right. Real quick before we jump into calls, does anyone else have any other questions? Anything you are unclear on? Anything you want some help with? Martina, you have to stop the recording. No, stop the recording, Martini.
Wait. Recording.
Right, hit join breakout room.
Sure. Stop there. Sorry.
We're still recording, Martini.
We're still? Sure.
Yep, you gotta hit the button, the recording button. And
I see. Here. Sorry.